Brandon Aiyuk's contract talks are heating up. The 49ers finally reached out to Trent Williams, and we'll get you ready for the game on Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. You are now tuned into 49ers Uncovered. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Mase. You can find me on Twitter at CaliKing49er17. With me, as always, on 49ers Uncovered, Chris. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all right. Be better on Sunday when the Niners can finally avenge their preseason Week 1 loss against the Titans. Do you think preseason momentum is a thing as far as players go? Do you think winning or losing a preseason game can affect morale heading into the season?
I don't really think so. We've seen 49er teams not perform in the preseason, and then once the regular season comes along, everything's fine.
Yeah, for sure. I almost you don't want guys to struggle, but you would like for them to have a little bit of adversity in camp. I think that kind of shows that you have forces on both sides of the ball kind of going. I don't know, even when veterans sometimes struggle, I'm like, I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens when you get the full contact going, right? So we'll speaking of full contact, we'll kind of dive in here to the injury report, get started. Ben Barch, an offensive guard. A lot of offensive lineman injuries. I'll just say that off the bat. Offensive guard knee injury, questionable for Week 1. Aaron Banks broke his pinky finger. Yesterday? Yeah. So he's going to be out for a couple weeks. Questionable for Week 1. John Feliciano with a knee injury, questionable for Week 1. It's offensive guard. Ambry Thomas with the forearm injury. I don't even know if he's going to make the team, but we'll see. Kalia Davis, defensive tackle, had a great Week 1 showing, but is out. I think he's going to he's on IR, I think. So maybe he'll come back mid-season. Not really sure there. Ricky Pearsall still dealing with the shoulder, but I guess it's kind of looking upward right now. Big play, Dre Greenlaw. He's still got the Achilles thing going, probably come back around Week 3, Week 5, Week 7 maybe. I don't know if the Niners rushing back. Taloa Hufanga had some good news. He is going on to the next stages of his rehab. What that is, I don't know. But he's trending upward for being ready or getting ready towards playing in Week 1. So that's good news. Spencer Burford still has the hand injury. Fred Warner's dealing with a foot injury. Isaac Guerrero still with a hamstring. Elijah Mitchell has a hamstring. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing this weekend. We'll see. Drake Jackson is on the PUP. And CMC has a calf injury. He's not playing preseason anyways. You have any thoughts on those guys or the depleted roster or group that we have at offensive line?
Well, what I was going to say first off was Pearsall. As a rookie, it's very, very unfortunate that he's losing time. And I don't know how that's going to shake out, but we'll find out.
Yeah, especially with Brandon Aiyuk being gone, he would be getting a lot of good reps probably at multiple spots. Take some time off Debo too. Debo's a dog, though. He's getting in there, getting that work. So do you think we're going to see any movement with this Brandon Aiyuk, Trent Williams stuff going forward? We'll just talk about it right now and get out of the way.
I hope so. And honestly, I believe we are. It seems like things are progressing, especially with Aiyuk.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
They're just a little bit off on a couple different things. So they're coming together, it seems like.
Yeah. Debo Samuel said in an interview today with Kay Adams, he said, I think BA is going to be a part of this team, so we don't have to worry about that. And talked about the whole contract thing going like that. So very, very big words coming from him. Positive news if you're a Niners fan, which we are, obviously. So that's good to go. Trent Williams just got reached out to recently. Is that weird? Do you think that maybe the Niners were waiting on the giant chunk of change that is Brandon Aiyuk before they started planning and plotting how to get Trent Williams on the squad?
Yeah, it is a little odd that it sounds like conversations have just now opened up. You would think it would have been quite a while back, but, we'll see.
Right? I don't know what is taking so long here. I think that's what is on everyone's minds at this point. Like, why is this not happening? Why isn't it happening? Can we please get this guys out there? Like, even just to have Trent Williams on the like. He doesn't even have to practice. Just get him there. Get him in the film room. Especially with these young guys. We have a lot of offensive lineman injuries, so it'd be really nice to have a guy like Trent Williams, who is one of, if not the best at his position in the league, to go in there and help these guys out. But it's just not happening. So we're kind of missing out there as well. A lot of I don't know, not dropping the bag, just kind of fumbling around on the Niners front office side.
Yeah.
Like they do retain players well, I feel like, for the most part, but it's always just like pulling teeth last second. Are we there? Are we here? Like there's just no communication. It's just the strangest thing, man. Moving on, do you think that there is a battle for quarterback too? I think Brandon Allen had a really good game. I think Josh Dobbs is really dynamic. We talked about it last time. We didn't get to see Tanner Mordecai. Maybe we get to see him against New Orleans. What are your thoughts on the QB2 situation?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a battle. Like you said, Brandon Allen looked good. He's more of the traditional pocket passer, whereas Dobbs is that improviser that can make things happen when his receivers are not open.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes down to style, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think they both have a little bit of Purdy in them. If you put them together, they make a Brock Purdy, right?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, he tested, I think it was a 3-cone drill maybe. I might be speaking out. But him and Lamar Jackson had the same time, man. Like Brock Purdy's agile, dude. He can move. He can slide around the pocket and get out there and scramble for some first downs, as we saw last year. Is Cody Schrader going to get more time this week? Or do you think it's going to be J.P. Mason and Elijah Mitchell? Elijah Mitchell is still on the injury reports. We're not even sure if he's going to play. What are you thinking there?
So Shanahan did say that the starters would be out there a little bit, but I do believe Cody Schrader will get probably a few more snaps than what he got.
Yeah.
I think he had 5 rush attempts for 6 yards in the first game. So, he can improve.
He was in for 32% of snaps. That's 18 snaps total. And you said he had 6 carries? Right? 5 carries?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, nothing too crazy. I don't think he really, messed up horribly, but I guess an opportunity like that, especially with the injuries the Niners have, you'd like to see them take advantage and step up. Tennessee did start week 1, I think, with their starting defensive line too. So, I don't know, not exactly promising, but at the same time, he's undrafted, right?
Yeah.
Late round, undrafted, yeah. So, going to take him some time to get up to speed, tempo. In one game, Tay Martin had 7 targets. Do you think that preseason targets mean anything for guys? Do you think that's just because certain quarterbacks get certain reps with certain guys? Or what are your overall thoughts on that?
No, I think it does. He's a guy that they want to see. He's not a proven veteran, so they want to get him the snaps and see what he can do.
Yeah, smart. I like that. Kind of tell me, though, we were talking before about Ronnie Bell, and you said that he really has something to prove this game. He had, out of him and Trent Taylor, he had less targets. Do you think that he's going to try to be featured this game, or do you think that he's already in the review?
No, I think they'll put him out there. They're going to give him a shot to prove himself.
No.
But last week he did have a holding call as well.
Yeah.
So you got to clean that up.
Kyle Shanahan's not going to like that. Right? You got CMC busting on a sideline, 25-yard gain. Nah, it's coming back.
Yeah.
Not good for business. I think Ronnie Bell does have a lot to prove. I think this 49ers room, the back end of guys that we've seen have kind of benefited, right, from getting reps and things like that, getting more eyes on them because they have that time. Brandon Aiyuk probably wouldn't be playing a lot if he was, but Pearsall definitely would be. So these snaps mean everything to guys like Ronnie Bell and stuff. And I think at this point it's between him and Trent Taylor for kick return. Is that what you're thinking as well?
I agree. Definitely.
I think maybe JP takes that third spot if Elijah Mitchell is healthy. But, yeah. Okay, so I was going to ask you this question, but now I'm going to kind of spin it differently. I was going to ask you what offensive lineman you're going to be watching on Sunday, if any. But I feel like we're going to have eyes on every single guy. There's going to be so much switched up. Pooney, I don't think we shouted him too much last pod, so I want to make sure that we did that this time. He had a phenomenal game, man. He started And there's going to be other guys that are going to be thrown into the ringer and put into place. Is there anyone, I guess, specifically that you think really has a chance to step up here?
So with Aaron Banks out, I'm looking at people like Nick Zakel.
Yeah.
Maybe even like Drake Nugent.
Nugent had 55% of snaps last week. So
yeah.
Pooney at 45. And then Kingston had 55% as well. And I don't even know that guy's name. Alicon. So they're definitely trying some fresh faces there, trying to get some stuff rotated in. It would be nice to see some of these guys kind of stick and maybe form some kind of bond and get it going. But I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard when you have a lot of guys without reps. But it's a good thing the Niners have weapons and Purdy can release the ball fast, right?
For sure.
Okay. Top PFF graded players in preseason week 1. Jonathan Garvin had an 84.1%. He's a defensive end. Alex Barrett, 80%. And safety George Odom. Dude, I cannot stop talking about how great of a game that guy had and how good he looked. I didn't know he was like that. Did you?
Yeah. No, I didn't necessarily expect it either, but I really liked what we saw.
Yeah, like he's a dog on special teams. He's nuts. He's the leader out there. So for him to go in that safety role and he owned it, man. He was nuts. Like God forbid someone goes down and he's got to step out there. I'm not tripping too much.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously we have a good bunch of guys in our defensive back room, but nice to have a guy like him that can really do both and still put out 100% and give his best at whatever he does, wherever he is. That's awesome. Other top-rated players on offense, Brandon Allen with a 91.4, Jake Tonks tight end, 83.3, and our boy JP Mason, monster of the game, right? Offensive MVP maybe for as long as he was out there, 83%. So as far as that goes, I don't know. PFF, it's kind of – I don't want to say I take it like Madden rankings, but it's like it's someone else that's doing it. I don't know really what they're basing it on. It just kind of like – gears you towards, okay, I think this guy had a good game. Let's dive a little bit deeper and watch his tape kind of deal. That's how I go with PFF. It's not like the Holy Grail, like, oh my goodness, it's green. I love that. Like, no, let's dive in and kind of see what happens, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So players' snap percentages in week 1. Renardo Green led the defense and Beal was second. Do you think that those guys stay on, or do you think that maybe the rookie Green pulls off and they try other guys like Yadam?
They could pull him off, but he's a rookie. He's young. I think they might want to see more of him.
Yeah.
Just to see if he can put back-to-back good games together.
Yeah. Rock Ya-Sin, 70%. That's 50 snaps. Do we see as much from him? Was that just kind of throwing him out there to the wolves and seeing what he's going to do? I wasn't like, wow, this guy's amazing, but he's a very physical guy. You can tell that he's got a presence. I think he has a place on the roster. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough for him because they are so deep at that position, but I like him. I think he finds a way to make the team.
Yeah. A little bit before the show, we were talking about Latu. You brought him up. He had 61% of snaps. That's 34 offensively. Do you think that he is a name that is currently teetering on the chopping block, or do you think that he's a lock for that tight end 2 spot? The Niners did spend, a third-round pick on him?
Yep.
Last year? So
yeah, they did. No, I think he's definitely on the block. He's got to perform in the next game, or people like Braden Willis will creep up the depth chart. Eric Saubert.
Yeah. Niners, they do have some I don't want to say solid names backing up. Like if anyone's in the NFL, they're probably good. But I think the Niners just need that really mauler tight end to come in and help block, set the edge, things like that. Those guys are a dime a dozen. They're hard to come by. I mean, you'd like to have a guy that can do both, right? But, I mean, we just saw Logan Thomas. That guy had 76 targets last year, and he just got cut. So if you are not blocking, they are not about it. Let's see. Matt Breida, 48% of snaps. Do you think he gets that again, or do you think he's just going to fade?
He's another tough one. I think they could put him out there just to give him another chance too.
Would you rather the Niners give him more time than Schrader, because Schrader had 32% of snaps? Or would you rather them kind of flip, see Breida 30%, see Schrader 50?
Yeah, I think I'd go that way. Put Schrader out there a little more.
Just because you kind of know what you have as far as Breida goes. Like, we kind of saw it. He is who we thought he was, right? Like, he's in shape. He's okay.
Yeah.
He's okay, but we're obviously looking for some upside here, right?
He's the veteran.
Yeah.
Cody Schrader's the young one. So
yeah, for sure. Elijah Mitchell being out gives him that time. So
yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go to the crystal ball section. Chris is going to give his opinion on the state of current position groups and insight on predictions for random things that I've kind of written down. So the Niners this week did cancel their joint practices with the Saints. I think the Niners and the Saints both agreed. Either way, the Niners are too banged up to practice against the Saints. Is this concerning? Do you think it's going to mess up the Niners' game speed? Do you think it's smart?
I think it could mess with them a little bit. Nothing that they can't recover from. But I do think it's smart. When you're so injured, I mean, as injured as they are, you got to recover. The regular season is what matters.
Yeah, 10-plus guys on the injury report right now, including the pup guys and stuff, so for sure. Speaking of, how bad off are the Niners on these injuries? Is it something that we think the injury bugs caught us, right? We got the flu, essentially, and it's just going to carry with us into the season? Or do you think hopefully the Niners can kind of square this off, maybe take a week to get some of these guys back so that we don't have everyone against the Jets, but maybe going forward? What do you think the game plan is going to be for that?
Shanahan's smart. He's not going to put anybody out there that he thinks is going to re-aggravate an injury and jeopardize the season. So I trust him on that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that would be the smarter choice. I'd rather wait and rest it out and then go. The Niners have enough superstars and talent on their roster to hopefully carry on. Except as long as we don't have CMC at quarterback, I think we'll be all right. George Kittle warming up on the sidelines as QB2. As long as we don't go there again. Dude, bad dream, man. God, wanted to wake up from that.
Don't want to see that again.
So bad. Like 3 quarters of football and it's over. It's tough. Okay, so what's your prediction for Sunday's game?
So, I mean, I think they pull out a win. I mean, the defense looked all right in the last game. I think they progressed to where they're, getting better and better. We'll see with the offense. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think they'll get the ball rolling. I think we have competent play enough at quarterback to keep the chains moving. Even when Allen had balls dropped, he was still like on the money. I don't expect like the accuracy to be perfect every time with a player like him, but if he can keep that up and keep drives going, that's really what you need. I really want to see more out of D. Winters. I want to see if he can recover, if he can keep that instinctiveness that he had. Taylor Bethune, the middle linebacker out of Florida State. I want to see him keep going, step up. I know that's KJ Britt, the linebacker coach. That's one of his favorite guys. And then did I say Samuel Womack?
No.
I want to see Samuel Womack as well. I want to see him come out. I really like that guy. He's just had injury stuff going on, and then he was on and off the roster. I think his first year a couple times too. But he's one of those gritty guys that can come in and really just make a play.
Yeah.
Pick or, pass the fence real big.
He's played well in camp.
Yeah. Really, really good. The Niners are, like we've said before in previous shows, so deep at defensive back right now. It's the best, probably, defensive back group, at least standing, right? Like it's one of the best that we have, knock on wood. Okay. So let's see. Will any starters play on Sunday? Last question. Do you think for how long?
Yeah, so Shanahan came out and said a couple days ago that the starters will play 1 or 2 drives.
Okay.
Just to kind of get their feet wet.
Do you think that's the move? I mean, we saw Josh Allen play for a whole quarter.
Yeah, that's true. I think that is probably the move, actually, yeah.
Especially with the lineman being out. You don't want anyone getting hurt, right? So
exactly.
Sorry, Allen, Dobbs. get those feet moving, man. Yeah. Get ready for some quick reads, some dumps, 1, 2, dish off. Things like that, probably. Are we going to see another bland playbook? Do you think we're going to have more added to it, or do you think the Niners have too much going on with injuries and everything else to install new stuff. I mean, not install, but I guess get guys up to speed.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to show too much more than they did in the first game, scheme-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the next segment, we'll talk about some recent transactions for the Niners. This is since August 12th. The Niners waived Tariq Owens with an injury settlement. Do you think that he is a possible add for the practice team?
He could be. I could see him doing it.
After okay. So amidst all of the injuries and the injury to Davis, the Niners went out and signed Nick Williams to a contract and waived linebacker Ezekiel Turner. Do you think he fills in, or do you think he's just a camp guy, kind of see what he has going?
Yeah, I think he's at this point, he's kind of just a guy that they wanted to bring in just to see what they can do.
Yeah, for sure.
Fill a roster spot with all the injuries.
So Frank Darby got injured. The Niners gave him an injury settlement. He cleared waivers, and the Niners re-signed him. Yeah, I think put him on IR. We picked up Robbie Chosen Anderson. If I said that wrong. What are your thoughts on it? I don't think very much of him. I don't think he's good at run blocking. I don't really know why Shanahan went for him over a couple other guys. But what are your thoughts on Robbie Chosen Anderson?
He's had a couple years where he really did well, but he hasn't done that in a few years. I think his stardom has kind of passed, but he is a veteran. Maybe these guys can learn a little something from his veteran presence.
Yeah, that's kind of the only thing you can look for, right? But where is he? The Panthers and the Jets, and he's turning into Fitzmagic, man. He's just like Boulevard of like Loserville. So I know. I mean, maybe he takes this opportunity and runs with it. But it's pretty sad times the Niners are out signing him because he's not even gonna play special. Yeah. So he's got to make the roster like as a wide receiver. I feel like he doesn't really have any other added value.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me see here. Are there any defensive backs you think that are going to be moved around and put in different spots? I know, like with rookies, like Brian Branch when he first got to the Lions, or when Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame first went to the Ravens. Their entire first year, they're rotating these guys around. Like even Lenore's played slot, he's played outside. Same thing with Ambry Thomas. Yeah. Do you think that there is anyone on this roster that maybe the Niners should try and mess around with just in case with the injuries looming? Because I think on the offensive line, what the Niners really like is that versatility. So why not try to replicate that on the defense? What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think Renardo Green is one of those guys that's a lot more versatile than people think. I think he can play different areas of the field.
Yeah. I like that as well. And I think that's a smart thing to do with young guys, especially when you have loaded defensive back room like we do. I mean, okay, I say loaded, but like Jason Verrett was our cornerback one not too long ago.
Yeah.
So like excuse me for really hyping up this DB room, but it's been some tough times, man. So for the Niners to finally kind of turn it around, I'm so stoked because now we don't have to rely on the pass rush and the great play of the linebackers to kind of hold off so our guys can get in position. The Niners just have about 11 dudes that can go out there and get the job done between Floyd and Bosa. We got the middle plug too. We can go on for days. All right. Final remarks. We'll wrap this show up. Who needs to have a better week this week than last week? And who do you think is on easy street?
We kind of already mentioned him, but Ronnie Bell really needs to have a better game this week. Easy street, man. I'm gonna go with JP Mason.
Okay.
I think they've really developed trust in him, and I think he'll end up being the backup once McCaffrey comes back. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Dominic Cooney's going to not be on easy street, but I think with so many injuries on that line, he was such a bright spot last week. I think it's going to be really hard for him to fail as long as he does his job. I think that the other guys might make him look extra better than he already really looks. I mean, he does look really good. I don't want to overhype him, but he looked dang good in his start. So let's see if he can go out and get that done again. Hopefully the guys around him take the opportunity as well. And then the guy who I think has the most improved, we talked about earlier, and you brought him up earlier to me, and that's Latu. I think he's got to step up. He's got to show something. The Niners drafted him in the 3rd round, like we talked about, and it's time to put up or shut up because with those compensatory picks that Kyle Shanahan gets, he uses them like UDFAs, man. So it's really boom or bust, you know. So yeah, those are the guys I got for that. Okay, switching back over here. Okay, the Niners have almost $52 million in cap. What the F, dude? Why is it taking the front office so long to get these contracts done?
So I really don't know why, but it just seems like they were lollygagging, and then the season just kind of creeped up on them, and they said, we got to do it. We got to do it. And it's unfortunate, but hopefully they get it done.
Yeah. We've said it before. It's just really weird to me to throw a low ball offer before the draft, then see a bunch of other players sign, still no communication. Sign a wide receiver, still no communication. Draft wide receiver, still no communication. Like, it's insane. It's ludicrous. I understand wanting to iron out the Aiyuk deal before the Trent Williams deal, as I think that they'll be more into Aiyuk's deal. But I think the Niners could have saved a couple million. They would have done it a little bit earlier, right? The guaranteed money, I don't know if they could have gone around that, but you could. I think they still might have had. I don't know. No contract was. I still think you could have had the same guaranteed money on a lower rate.
Yeah, and at this point, it just sounds like there's nothing any of these other teams are going to offer that's going to be good enough for Aiyuk.
Yeah, the Niners asked for Freiermuth, Minka Fitzpatrick, I think Pickens. Is it Barton, offensive lineman? I think guard maybe. And Steelers are like, nah, we just want to give you picks. And that's just, I mean, we've talked about it before. That's just not in the Niners' vision right now. They need guys now. They need to win now. They have a 2 to 3 year window at this point. Still got to lock up Purdy. Still need to get Williams and Aiyuk and beat the dead drum, the dead horse. Just keep on talking about it. You got anything else before we get us out of here?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. Go Niners. Beat the Saints. Hopefully we get a good showing from our backups. That special team unit needs to pull their head out. So let's see how they adjust to that, because if not, that special teams coach might be on the block himself. For Chris, I am Mase, and we'll see you guys next time on 49ers Uncovered.